Hey guys, Billy Uphart here. Thanks for tuning in to the vlog and for following the blog. And if you like some of the things we're saying or you think it'll help somebody, we appreciate you hitting like or hitting share or whatever. And so one of the questions, we get here in the office at Wealth Builders all the time is, how do I become an entrepreneur? How do I get started? The first business I ever had was a carpet cleaning company. And I went out and actually, the first part of the business I did pretty well on is I went out and actually found this little carpet cleaner, back in the days before you could go to the grocery store and rent one, back before that time when they were a lot more scarce than they are now. I found one that I could buy for $25. And so I bought it and I started a carpet cleaning business. And I want to tell you that business was a massive failure. I don't know. I look back on it now and I lost money the whole time I had that business, but I did sell the machine. And so I actually sold the machine to another friend and I got my money back. But then I did another business several years later when Becky and I were we already had a reasonably good income stream, but we wanted to add to our income stream. We actually started a magazine, a home magazine, in the days back before the internet and back when home magazines were really the rage. And we started one called Home Sweet Homes. And Becky would actually go in and take the pictures of the houses on the inside. I remember we had to buy this special camera with a wide angle lens, one of those old film cameras, 35 millimeter. But that business was hugely successful for us. And we actually ended up selling that business, but we made a lot of really good money. And so the point I'm making with you is that when it comes to stepping out and becoming an entrepreneur, number one, you've got to be willing to fail. In other words, if you're not willing to take a risk, there's another way to say it. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to take a risk. And if you're not willing to take a risk for something you're doing in your life, then it's probably not worthwhile anyway. In fact, as you've heard many people say, the best things in your life are on the other side of your fear. The best things in your life are on the other side of your fear. So if you can get on the other side of your fear, those things that are holding you back, then if you can do that, then you're going to find opportunity to do what I call fail forward. You're going to be able to experience a noble failure, pick yourself up, and be able to be successful. I have people ask me all the time, even people close to my age, and remember I'm only 39, but I have people even my age asking me all the time, how can I get started in business? But all their life they've played it safe. All their life they haven't taken risks. So it's very hard as you get older to really begin to take some risks you haven't taken before. Now when we talk about taking risks, we're not talking about being stupid, especially if you're older. But for those of you that are watching these vlogs and you're younger, let me tell you what a Christian psychologist told me when I was 29 years old. And I said to him, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I was explaining this to him. And he was a very prominent man in those days, very well known. He was on national television, Christian television, very prominent. And I remember he caught me off guard. I was young at that time, in my 20s, late 20s, and I didn't know some of the things that I probably know now. But he said this to me. He looked at me and he said to me, "Billy, what's the worst thing that can happen to you?" And I said, "Well, that's kind of easy, Dr. So-and-so." I said, "The worst thing that could happen to me is I could fail." And he said, "Exactly. That's the worst thing you can have happen to you, is you fail." He said, "Look, you're only 29 years old." I think I was 28. He said, "You're only 28 years old." He said, "The worst thing that could happen to you is you fail." He said, "You have many years, you don't realize it now, but you have many years to pick yourself up and start over again." And one of my greatest mentors early on in my life, in my 20s, he was the richest man in those days that I knew. And he taught me many things about exit strategies and investing and primarily building businesses. And he told me, he said, "I want to let you know that I've filed bankruptcy 3 times. In other words, he went through major failure 3 times in his life before he actually made it or became a success. The point is, you've got to be willing to take risk. So I just want to encourage you, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, follow your dreams, because what you really are going to find and want in your life is on the other side of your fear. So this is Billy Uphart saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you right back here on another vlog. Thanks. Bye-bye.